Hello everyone. I recently added a new tool to the Bezier Utilities toolkit. This could be quite a powerful tool for working with Bezier curves. So here is an overview of the important features of the tool. To install the Bezier Utilities toolkit, you need to first of all download the file given in the video description. Go to Edit, Preferences, then Add-ons and click Install. Go to the folder where you have downloaded the file, double click on it, and in the search box type Bezier. You should see this option Bezier Utilities. Just select that and close the window. There will be a new panel in Active Tool and Workspace Settings area with all these tools. The tools are arranged in collapsible panels. I have already created one video that goes through some of the tools in this add-on. There have been some changes since then, but I won't be going through all these changes. Today we will be focusing mainly on the Flexi Bezier tool and its important features. To activate the tool, click this button on the tool shelf and you will see this green dot that indicates that the Flexi Bezier tool is active. To start drawing, you first click the starting point of the curve and just release the button. Now if you move the mouse, you will see a straight line. Then at the end point of the curve, you again click the mouse button, but this time without releasing it. Just hold down and move the mouse and the curvature will change with the movement of mouse. The blue handle indicates the exact nature of the curvature. You can adjust it, and once you are satisfied, you can simply release the mouse and then continue drawing this curve in this fashion. Once you are done with the drawing, you just hit enter or double click with the mouse and this will be converted into a Bezier curve. You can also adjust the initial curvature by just clicking and holding down the mouse, dragging it, and when you release, the curvature will be determined by the initial handle. And if you want to undo the last segment of the curve, you can just press backspace and this will take you to the last position from where you can start drawing again. And of course you can use Ctrl Z to undo the entire operation. To deactivate Flexi Bezier, just select any other tool. With this you can, for example, very easily trace the objects with smooth curves inside Blender. So if I just drag the image into Blender, Blender creates an image empty. You can adjust the transparency of this image, enable the Flexi Bezier tool and start tracing the image. Drawing with Flexi Bezier tool is very similar to drawing with the Bezier tool in Inkscape. So if you are accustomed to using it in Inkscape, you will have no learning curve at all with this tool. Now let's look at the snapping options available with this tool. The first one is snap to grid. If I hold down Ctrl while moving the mouse, the indicator gets snapped to the grid and this snapping gets adapted to the zoom level of the viewport. So if I zoom out, the snapping interval is larger, and if I zoom in, we have finer snapping interval. This snapping option is available while positioning the starting point as well as while drawing the curve or while adjusting the curvature by dragging the mouse. The second snapping option is related to restricting the angle of the new points with respect to the earlier one. So for example, if I start the curve from here and let's say I want to draw a horizontal line, I can simply hold down Shift key and the new point will have fixed snapping angle, so I can easily draw a horizontal line or adjust the curvature by snapping the handle at fixed angle intervals. This is different than snapping to grid because the starting point may not lie on the grid and still we can have snapping of the new points based on the position of the earlier point. And lastly, we have a very useful snapping option, and that is snapping to the end point of the splines within the curve. Splines are basically disconnected parts. The curves that we have drawn all have single spline. In this case, the end points of the spline are the same as the end point of the curve. To snap to the end points, I need to hold down Alt key, and again this snapping interval is dependent on the zoom level. So I can easily connect two Bezier curves by first snapping to one end of a curve, moving the mouse pointer close to the desired end of the other curve, again pressing Alt to snap to this end, and then clicking and dragging to adjust the curvature of the joining segment. When I am satisfied, I can simply hit enter, and these two curves are joined to create a single curve. Similarly, I can join the curve to itself by snapping to one of the ends and then adjust the angle. Let's join these two curves. Let's join with a straight line. So I simply click here without dragging and press enter. So these curves are joined. And if we want, we can also close the curve with a curved segment. If you don't want the new segment to be part of the curve to which it is snapped, then you can simply press Ctrl Z. So after pressing Ctrl Z, this segment is separated from the earlier curve. Let's try this with text curves. I'll convert these to curves. I just open the splines so that we can experiment connecting individual splines within the curves to each other. This Open Splines tool is also part of the Bezier Utilities toolkit, so you will get it by default by installing the add-on. It simply marks each of the splines within the curve as non-cyclic. So we now have these two curves with multiple splines. I'll just connect some of the splines to each other. I'm holding down Alt to snap to this end of X, and let's join this to this end of E. If I press enter, now we have a single curve object, and these two splines are now connected. So I can basically connect any spline to any other spline in this fashion. By making use of snapping to the end point of the curves, you can create smooth curves while tracing fairly easily, as can be seen in this demo of the tool. That's about it about this Flexi Bezier tool. If you have any suggestions or feedback, just leave a comment on this video. Maybe you can go through the other tools within the toolkit. There are quite a few handy tools. If you need a separate video on these tools, just let me know. Thank you very much.